to this girls game, and particularly this AIA 3A state tournament, which is upon us. As folks, it's win or go home tonight. Good evening to you, Mr. Coach Brogan.
Man, how you doing?
I'm doing good. So thoughts overall, we have a 12th seed against the 22 seed, and this is a very young Gilbert Christian team. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's always interesting when you get to the state tournament. You just quite never know what to expect. What type of experience people have, what big a part nerves are going to play in the game tonight, things like that. At this point, anybody can beat anybody. Both these teams have had pretty successful seasons, and so, as a coach, you come into this wanting to make sure that you just kind of take care of your own stuff. Don't turn the ball over, play hard.
So, Coach, what you're telling me is fundamental basketball is going to win this game.
Yeah, as always, right?
As always. And so that's going to be our ace hardware keys of the game is fundamental basketball. So, folks, now we move to our Summit Healthcare injury report. And the only injury I know of isn't even really a season-ending injury. It's Unisu, I think they call her Unisu Machiri. They call her Uni. She tore her ACL, and she is now barely getting back to 100% on that ACL. So as far as our Summit Healthcare injury report goes, that's all we have is Coach Tenejith, Brandon Tenejith's team has been announced. And for the Jackets tonight, we have Smith, Paxson, Tenejith, the other Tenejith, as well as Lilani Hamblin. And for the Gilbert Christian Knights, Chloe Lehman, Melissa Johnson, Uni Machiri, Alyssa Cervantes, and Kayla Ashton. And folks, it is noted there is not one senior on this roster. Coach Brogan, the coach noted before the game they graduated 7 or 8 seniors last year.
Yeah, we actually played them in the quarterfinal round at the state tournament, or in the round of 16. Sorry, and they were a heavy senior squad. I didn't realize it was all of them.
Tip goes up, and it is. We're going to have another tip, and Mr. Quinn Ashton's going to throw off. This is the Northland Pioneer College tip-off, folks. When it comes time to tip off your college education, tip it off to the college with the lowest tuition in the state. That's Northland Pioneer College's location in Navajo-Apache County. As Ashton jumps, and ball is now controlled, and that is Machiri with the ball. Machiri over on the far side to number 14, Cervantes, and it's knocked out of bounds, and it is going to belong to the Knights. Now, Coach Brogan, I don't want to upset our Gilbert Christian listeners, but I do want to note that game last year was a 16 seed against a 1 seed, and those Snowflake Lobos, your Snowflake Lobos squad, went down to Gilbert Christian High School and defeated the Knights as the 16th seed.
Yeah, it was a heck of a basketball game. I think we were a little underseeded last year. We had a slow start and kind of caught our groove late in the season, and so we had a pretty good run to end the year.
As Tennant is going to bring over the ball, and I had a chance, and if Coach Bergen, if you help me, it's Coach Mark Ditzman, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And Coach Ditzman was very, very quick to tell me that it's a young squad. However, they are not coming into this game, and they are not going to back down to anyone. They're not just coming here for any kind of experience. They're coming here to win. And I did note to him that it was going to be a situation where if they did win, they're going to go home and they're going to turn around because the winner of this team will play the Snowflake Lady Lobos on Friday in Snowflake.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough down the mountain, back up the mountain again Friday. So,
well, they have to defeat these Blue Ridge Yellow Jackets. Otherwise, it's a trip up 77. And Blue Ridge as well as there's Machiri. Uni with the shot, no good. Now Tenejith bounces it, and it's going to back down and bounce to Lacey Tenejith as she crosses way long court pass for Hamlin. Hamlin about a 8-foot jumper, no good. Rebound is controlled by Lehman. Chloe Lehman, the junior for the Gilbert Christian Knights. Gilbert Christian comes out wearing their black uniforms, gold lettering and trim, adorned in their green. So not unfamiliar to have green and gold up here in this gymnasium playing these Yellow Jackets. The Yellow Jackets come out tonight in their home whites with purple trimmed in gold, as that's going to be Lehman to get the ball over the time stripe, and it's going to go over to Cervantes. And that's going to go to number 3, and that is Johnson. First time we've mentioned her name. We've had these Yellow Jackets quite a few times, and I'll tell you what, Coach, they do a very good job at playing the defensive game, as that's a three-point shot by Johnson. No good. And that's going to be Machiri Uni with the ball, and she dribbles, and she's going to be called for a travel. Tell me, Coach, about this Blue Ridge squad that you faced a couple times this year.
Yeah, they do a lot of different things defensively, and a lot of it's predicated on the speed of Leilani Hamlin. She's just different, right? She's quick, puts a lot of pressure on the basketball. So typically when we've faced them in the past, she tends to guard full court, put a lot of pressure on the ball, and then they play a zone behind it. And they're pretty active in that zone, and they're definitely a pretty solid defensive squad.
As we had Ashlyn Smith come up there with the miss, but rebounded by Lacey Tenegith, and Lacey Tenegith is going to give us our first points of the night as Maturi brings the ball. She goes over to the far side to Lehman. Lehman three-point shot, no good, rebound Smith. And Coach, you see a player like Ashlyn Smith, and she didn't necessarily give the Lobos fits, but a girl with that kind of height underneath is hard to guard. And she goes in for 2 points right there for the Jackets, giving them a quick 4-0 lead.
Yeah, she's a very good rebounder offensively and defensively, and her size definitely impacts the game. So she does a lot of things other than just score.
As she definitely kind of has a nose for the ball, too.
Absolutely.
As there's a pass by Lehman, yes, that was Lehman inside to Johnson. Ball out of bounds. Our officials sent to us by the ARA tonight are head official Quinn Ashton, and his two umpire officials are Stacy Gillespie and Randall Allen. And a quick side note, folks, on a personal note, you know how I enjoy talking up our officials because they are not just good men, they are very good at their craft. But Mr. Stacy Gillespie and I go back about 45 years. He and I went to high school together, and he is one of the best folks. And I've talked to him multiple times about basketball, and he does everything in his power to do the best he can. And great three officials the AIA has provided us tonight. And there's Tenegith, cross over the time stripe. There's Hamblin. Hamblin now at the top of the key. Over to Paxson. Paxson now drives. She's going to give to Smith. Smith puts it on the court. Smith, 9-foot jumper off the backboard, but it is no good. Rebound, I can't quite see who got it. I believe that was Paxson. Now Tenegith has it. Tenegith goes up. Tenegith is going to be fouled. As Coach, you mentioned Hamblin, Leilani Hamblin, the senior, and she is quite a different ball player because I think she only has one gear, and it's fourth or fifth gear.
Yeah, it may even be sixth. She is quick.
Now, not only is she quick, but in the game last Friday, I believe, your ball handlers, she caused them fits in that second quarter. And that was a quarter you guys kind of started to pull ahead, but she was the main reason that you weren't able to get a big lead on that team.
Yeah, she does a really good job, and she's kind of everywhere, right? She's in front of you, behind you, and she does a great job. A great job of just causing havoc, and it makes it hard to run your stuff on offense.
As the inbound's going to go to Johnson. Johnson is over on the far side. Now she gets a bump, and she sends it to Uni Maturi. And that's going to go inside to number 11, and that is Tylee Fox. And Tylee's going to give Gilbert Christian their first points of the game, 5-2, early lead for the Jackets. As Tenegith's going to cross over, Lacey Tenegith, the sophomore. And, Coach, this is also a very heavy senior Blue Ridge squad.
Yep.
And I noticed that the Lobos have quite a few seniors. The Sholo Cougars have quite a few seniors, as well as the Snowflake Lobos, the Sholo Cougars, the Blue Ridge Yellow Jackets. There's a three-point shot by Johnson. It is off the mark, no good. Rebound is Tenegith. So also I understand Alchese is pretty senior heavy. So whereas Coach Perkins' team is kind of young over there in Holbrook, how do you see the East shaping up through the playoffs and into next year?
Well, there's definitely a lot of experience amongst all squads, and so I think that is going to lead to a couple of deep runs in the playoffs this year. I think every one of those squads that you mentioned have the capacity to win this first and second round game and get down into Prescott and possibly even down into Phoenix. It kind of makes it interesting for next year as well. At Snowflake, we have tried to integrate as much youth as we could, and so we play 9 or 10 girls regularly, and they're amongst our subs. So, next year will kind of be wide open, give something for the girls to work really hard at this year, in this off season. To prep for next year.
Well, I think it's building a team versus building a program. As Tenegith is going to get whistled for her first foul, and that's going to put Kayla Ashton at the line to shoot a couple, as she has a chance to bring her team within a point, as her first one's good.
Really interesting to watch your Blue Ridges come out in a box and won. And so they're looking at trying to take out Uni. she's got Hamlin has been following her all over the floor, and I think that's why they're giving up some of those open three-point shots from Gilbert Christian, but they're doing a good job, I think, at having Uni kind of take her out of the game.
As Hamlin goes in, she dribbles to Tenage, and then it's inside Ashlyn Smith, and Ashlyn Smith is going to seemingly put it in for an easy 2 points. Her team's up 7-4. As now we have number 11, Tylee Fox crosses the time stripe in the middle to Dutzman. Dutzman, the freshman. As she has it knocked away, it's going to be gathered by Fox. However, it's going to go back to Tenagith, forward to Paxson. Paxson over to Hamlin. Hamlin left side, right hand, and that's going to be good for Leilani Hamlin, the senior. Inbound is the Fox. Fox crosses over midcourt. Fox on the far side. Mid-range at the three-point line. I couldn't see a number on the end, so that's going to end up in the hands of Ashton, 23, and now that's no good, and rebound is going to bounce off to the Jackets to Tenagith, and now Hamlin's going to go in, and Hamlin's going to be fouled. That's going to be Maturi's first foul, and that's going to be their second team foul as well, as it is on Maturi. As 2 minutes and 52 seconds have gone by here in the first quarter, 9-4 lead. I get the feel, Coach, that Blue Ridge is kind of in control, but they haven't absolutely taken over the ball game, of course, being still early.
Yeah, they're doing a really good job getting the ball out in transition and getting some early shots. I think that box and one's doing a number on Gilbert Christian. Not quite sure how or where they want to attack it yet, but as long as the Blue Ridge will continue to get the ball out in transition, they'll get some easy shots, and I think they'll be successful.
Well, and I was talking to Coach Dutzman before the game, and he said that they do rely on Maturi quite heavily, as we're going to get a three-point shot, and that's going to be maybe partially blocked. And that was Hansen, Addie Hansen, put up the ball. And I believe, Coach, that I believe all but maybe one or two of the names of the Gilbert Christian Knights I have called. So he's got his players in a fresh rotation as well. And I guess that's kind of coming up to 5,000 feet, or actually, what are we, about 6,800 up here?
Yep.
As there's Smith drives the lane. Smith's going to have it knocked away, and that's going to be a turnover on Smith, and that's going to be controlled by Melissa Johnson. She sends it up to Lehman. Lehman's now on the far side. Lehman dribbles to her left, now to her right, back over. Ball goes into the hands of Cervantes. Cervantes to Johnson. Now that's going to go three-point shot by Fox. No good. Rebound, Tenagith. And, Coach, I noticed they're using Tenagith in quite the swingman role. She's inside, but she's going in as that's going to be a reverse layup by Paxson, as Tenagith is kind of playing down low on defense, but she's kind of all over on offense and using her as a swingman, and she's that type of ball player.
Yeah, they facilitate their offense through her, and she's a really, really important part of what they do offensively.
Well, and as we've called a couple of their games this year, the ball's going to be knocked out of bounds, and it is going to belong to the Yellow Jackets. We're going to have Paxson. It's going to be Brooklyn Paxson, as well as Lexi Red are going to check in the game for the Jackets. And the first game I saw her, I believe, was against the Winslow Bulldogs, and her shooting was lights out. I think she had 15 or 16 points, and a good number of that came off threes. As that's going to be Paxson inside to Smith. Smith, that's going to be good. And Ashlyn Smith just is methodically getting the ball in the middle, making that step and putting it up for 12-4 lead for the Blue Ridge Yellow Jackets. Just under a minute and a half left here in the first quarter as Johnson brings it across. Johnson now over to Cervantes. Cervantes in and out. Cervantes over to Lehman. Lehman at the top of the key. Over to Fox. Fox now dribbles to her left. Mid-range jumper, no good. Rebound, Ashlyn Smith. And that's going to go to Paxson. Paxson ahead to Hamlin. Hamlin's going to have a wide open look at a layup, and Hamlin's going to put it in for another two. And if I'm Coach Dutzman, I have the quarter coming up, but I might stop the momentum right there and address my team a little bit.
Yeah, there's a little bit of worrisome some body language and stuff that looks like they're getting a little frustrated.
As the ball's going to be intended for Ashton, and it's going to be stolen by Smith, and that's Ashlyn Smith. The ball's going to now be knocked out, and it is going to be controlled in by Lehman. And Lehman is now going to give it over to Johnson, who's been handling the ball handling duties. Crosses over the time stripe. Over to Lehman. Lehman three-point shot. No good. Rebound. Paxson. Brooklyn Paxson, number 35. And Brooklyn's going to get called for a whistle and a travel. That's going to belong to the Gilbert Christian Knights, as we're going to have some subs. And that's Uni Maturi as well as Gracie Carpentier.
Yeah,
that's
really,
some fancy spelling.
Yeah, really interesting here to see with now that Uni's come back in the game. Blue Ridge was in a 2-3 zone while she was out. I'm interested to see if they come back in the box and one, and it looks like they have.
As we're going to have a jump shot by Melissa Johnson, number 3 for the Knights, and she's going to put it in. Now Blue Ridge brings down the ball, and that's going to be Tenejith crosses over the time stripe. Now to Brooklyn Paxson, looking inside for Smith. Smith, 10 seconds left, and no good. Shot clock is off, not a factor. That's going to be Lexi Red over to Paxson. Paxson, 3-point shot, no good, and that's going to end our first quarter as we're going to take a minute break. This is Shola Ford's presentation of high school basketball on iTalk1067.com.
Think glass, think Deemer's Glass in Lakeside. Deemer's Glass offers the best selection of quality glass with affordable prices. They do full home window packages, replacement windows, custom shower doors and enclosures, custom mirrors in many shapes, styles, and colors, glass doors and hardware, commercial glass for buildings and offices, skylights, screens, fire-rated glass for your fireplace or stove, window film, and more. Visit Deemer's Glass today on Porter Mountain Road in Lakeside or call 1-888-GLASSMAN.
Who sells the #1 truck in America? Sholo Ford. That's right. Not only do they sell it, Sholo Ford is the best place to buy it. Why? Guy Hatch guarantees it. In fact, he guarantees you'll get the best deal on your next Ford car, van, or SUV as well. It doesn't matter what you buy. Sholo Ford has the best deal. Sholo Ford on the east end of the Deuce and at sholoford.com.
Welcome back to Shola Ford's presentation of high school basketball on iTalk1067.com. As we start the second quarter, we'd like to remind you, first of all, this is our Northland Pioneer College tip-off. When it comes time to tip off your college education, tip it off to the college with the lowest tuition in the state. That's Northland Pioneer College, locations in Navajo and Apache County. Northland Pioneer College. As Blue Ridge brings in the ball, and that's going to be Anaya Paxson with the ball, and she's going to have it knocked away, and that's going to be a steal by Cervantes for the Gilbert Christian Knights. I'm Aaron Hewish, courtside with Coach Mike Brogan of the Snowflake Lady Lobos. Looking forward to his matchup with one of these two teams on Friday, as there's Ashlyn Smith. Now over to Paxson. Paxson drives the lane, puts it up. No good rebound. Smith puts it up, and that's going to be, Coach, I didn't think that had any prayer of falling. And it does fall. And that's going to be Smith's 8th point of the night for the Lobos, as Uni's going to drive the lane, Yuri Machuri, and she's going to be whistled, and there's going to be a foul. Coach, folks, before I go much farther, I want to remind you of our sponsors: Sholo Ford, Ace Hardware, Deemer's Glass, Summit Healthcare, Honda Ski and Outdoor, Northland Pioneer College, Horn Auto Center, and Mountain Mobile Auto Glass. As Machuri's going to go to the line, she's going to miss her first one, as this is going to be Hamblin is going to check in for the Yellow Jackets, and Hamlin, the sophomore, replacing, I'm assuming, her sister.
Yeah, they are sisters, and I think that was Leilani's second foul here, and I think Coach is going to give her a minute to catch her breath.
Well, it doesn't look like they drop off too much from Miley Hamlin, because she plays just like Leilani. There goes Smith inside. Smith's going to put it up. No good. That's going to go off the mark, as Red tried for the rebound, didn't get it. Now Miley Hamlin has it over to Paxson. Paxson, left-handed jumper about 8 feet away. No good. Rebound is Machuri. Machuri being guarded. Now Machuri over to Melissa Johnson of the Gilbert Christian Knights. 16-7. Early second quarter to start the game. As that's going to go inside, and that's going to go to number 12, Gracie Carpentier, and she's going to put it up for 2. And Blue Ridge giving up a little bit to these Gilbert Christian Knights as they're clawing their way back into it.
Yeah, this is a critical part of the game for Gilbert Christian. You kind of get your legs under you in that first quarter, but you want to be able to keep the distance close here, just so you can have a competitive second half.
As that was Miley Hamlin driving baseline with a baseline jumper, and she tickles the twine for 2 as it goes through. Over to Cervantes on the far side. Cervantes trying to get into Carpentier. Back over to Hansen. Hansen now back to Cervantes. Cervantes over to Machuri. Machuri now at the 28-foot line. Gives it inside to Johnson. Johnson loses it. Now we're going to have an alternating possession, and that's going to belong to the Gilbert Christian Knights according to the NFHS rules of the jump ball. Coach, I've often wondered, what if we did bring that out and jumped it again? I think a girls' game could go 2-3 hours, but that's okay.
Yeah, I wonder if the refs would be as eager to call them as they are now.
3-point shot by Johnson is no good. And we're going to get a jump ball again, and that's going to go to the Blue Ridge Yellow Jackets. I almost feel sometimes, Coach, like when you have a jump ball and then a jump ball right after, it almost negates it, and I feel like Blue Ridge just should have got it in the beginning. As now we have Paxson doing the ball handling duties for the Yellow Jackets. She crosses over half court, top of the key. Now to her left, inside to Smith. Smith puts the ball down once, not twice. Puts it up left side, left hand. And Ashlyn Smith gives another 2 points to the Jackets. As we haven't had many of our Mountain Mobile Auto Glass free throws tonight, but that's okay. We appreciate our sponsors. Give them your business, patron them. As that's going to be Machuri, and Machuri's going to get a 5-second closely guarded. And, Coach, we don't see that very often in high school ball.
No, not near enough. Coming from a defensive coach. And that was just a great job by Hamlin. She just got up, pressured her right up, and Uni just didn't have anywhere to go.
Coach, I thought all coaches were defensive coach in the game of basketball. I've heard lots of strategy about man and zone and zone being a 4-letter word. I thought all basketball coaches were that type. As Blue Ridge gets the ball back, and we have Tenejith. And Coach, I haven't seen Tenejith pop out to shoot any of those threes either.
No, I don't. I think she's taken one shot that I can recall inside the paint, and she's more facilitating tonight. Blue Ridge has done a really good job getting the ball down into Smith. She's had a really good run early, but there's the commentator's jinx, right?
And you know what, Coach? I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, well, we wanted her to take a shot, we were saying, and she puts one up and is unsuccessful, and the ball's going to change hands a few times. It's going to go out of bounds, and now it is going to go to the Gilbert Christian Knights. As a nice evening here, nice little crowd on hand for a playoff game. As Coach, I just keep thinking it's playoff time and it's win or go home. I almost still feel like we're in the regular season and it's barely December. There's going to be a 3-point shot, and that's going to be Ditzman, and it's going to be off the mark. As we're going to whistle, we're going to get a foul, and I believe that's going to go on Hamblin. As it is, it's going to be number 0, and that's going to be her first team or first personal foul. That's going to be the second team, but it's win or go home, Coach. And as we break down that 3A bracket, you have the number 1 seeded team, and that is Page or Window Rock number 1?
Page.
And Window Rock's number 2.
Yep.
Followed by the local team, the Show Low Cougars.
Yep.
And from what I've seen this year, any of those teams can fall at any given night to about the top 8 teams in the tournament.
Yeah, and maybe not necessarily the 8 rated PowerPoint teams, but I think you got some teams as Chinley, Tuba City, Alchesay that are, I believe they're 10, 11, and 13 that are capable of getting an upset as well.
Well, did Window Rock win the 3A North tournament? I know the 3A North tournament doesn't mean a whole lot other than for pride for points, but and that's a 3-point shot, and that is going to be good by Alyssa Cervantes as she puts up a 3-point shot, and Gilbert Christian clawing back as the ball crosses over and goes to Smith. We'll update you on the bracket in a little bit, folks, as we'll turn it over to our fine broadcast team. There's Ashlyn Smith for another 2 points, and Coach, she is a shooter tonight.
Yeah, this is as good as I've seen her play shooting the basketball.
As that's going to be number 4. Dutzman is going to put in Lily Dutzman, and she is off the mark. Paxson with the rebound. So, Coach, we can turn it over to our broadcast. As Smith almost had an easy layup, put it out on her foot, but saves her own shot. Now to the Knights. And as we look, Window Rock won that tournament. I believe they played Page.
They did.
And it was a fairly close game.
Yeah, they actually ended up winning by 1. Page had led for most of the first half and into the third quarter, and then it got really competitive to close out and ended up winning by 1. Free throws and held Page off. But
we're going to come back and talk about the 3A tournament. We have a timeout here. We're going to take a minute. This is Shola Ford's presentation of high school basketball on iTalk1067.com.
Want to go skiing or snowboarding? Visit our friendly Honda Outdoor Sports. We offer skis, snowboards, and helmet rentals, custom footbeds, ski and snowboard repairs, as well as retail shopping for your snow gear, goggles, beanies, snow tubing, and even ice fishing supplies. We have all you need to prepare you for the outdoors. We welcome you to Honda Outdoor Sports, located 1 mile west of the casino.
Hey, White Mountains, it's Joe G from Horn Auto Center on the Deuce and Sholo. At Horn Auto Center, we're proud to offer the best pricing on all of our new inventory. We won't be beat on price. We'll honor any advertised price on a comparably equipped vehicle on any new Chevy, GMC, or Cadillac. It's that simple. Save time, gas, and money while keeping your tax dollars local when you visit Horn Auto Center. Come see us on the Deuce and Sholo, where we won't be beat on price. Horn Auto Center, the Chevy and GMC store that saves you more.
Welcome back. Show Forge presentation of high school basketball on italk1067.com as we're going to sit and break down. We're going to turn it over to our live action, and we're going to break down the 3A tournament a little bit as we'll give you some action. But, you know, folks, the good eyeballs at home are going to tell us what to do as we get involved in talking here with Coach Brogan at the timeout. And one of the things we were talking about in the 3A tournament is the Window Rock Fighting Scouts. And how they are, and tell us, Coach. I mean, not only about Window Rock and Page, but tell us how you see the 3A tournament breaking down. Of course, you know your team has as much of a chance as anybody when it's win or go home.
Yeah, we certainly like our chances as good as anybody else's. I think the thing to me that's most impressive with the 3A is the depth of the competitiveness. You have the teams up north and the east. All 13 teams from the north and the east actually made the state playoffs.
Well, as I was talking to Coach Ditzman before the game, that was his first thought is getting his girls exposure, and he said getting them exposure to the north. And I guess for them, this is the north. It's not quite the arenas that they play in, but as I felt last year, as I went down and watched the Snowflake Lobos play the Gilbert Christian Knights in that playoff game, the 16 versus 1, as that is a scoop up and in for Lacey Tenijith, is one of the things I felt as I watched that game is that Gilbert Christian, as I looked at their schedule, hadn't played anyone outside of Maricopa County, and I thought that was a huge disadvantage for them as they went through that game.
Yeah, and I agree with that. And I have a good friend who coaches down at Push Ridge, and we talk about, our schedule, and all the teams up here are in a really similar situation. But every team on our schedule, with the exception of one, made the state tournament. And so when you get into a state tournament game, we've played a number of teams that are on that competitive level. Last year, having gone through Sholo twice and Window Rock and Altusay in the regular season. When we go play, down in Gilbert Christian, it's just one more game. It's not the biggest game of the year, from a competitive standpoint.
Well, and Gilbert Christian did a great job recalling is the pregame, the hype, the introductions, turn out the lights, but at the same time, your girls were like, we've been there, we've done this.
Yeah.
We've seen, I mean, even going to a place like Sholo to play with their student section on that opposite side is hard. Going to Holbrook, I mean, that game at Holbrook this year on those wooden bleachers in Munoz Gym is just loud.
Yep.
And going to Winslow is no small feat. And I'm not even talking about the schools up in the north. That's going to be Lexi Red's going to put her first free throw in as she goes to the line. And then, of course, we got Ganado, and I call it the pit because you walk in and it's kind of dug out, and then you've got the palaces at Chinley and Window Rock. But if any of you have ever been to Tuba and Monument Valley, there's some of the nicest facilities as Red hits her second one. And I just felt like the Lady Lobos were ready, and the Gilbert Christian Knights is kind of a flip roll. They come up here this year, and it's different. I mean, I know it's not a full gym, but
no, and it's more than the facilities and the atmosphere as well. It's the speed of the game, style of the gameplay, things like that you just become accustomed to when you play it night in and night out.
Well, and I guess I get caught up a little bit in the hype stuff, but one of the things you said is the style of play, and the girl style of play up here is very different. That's going to be Cervantes with a three-point shot, no good. And right now, unofficially, I have Gilbert Christian about 1 for 12 from three-point range. And I don't have that as an exact stat, but I think that's going to be pretty close. As Red has it over to Tenijith. Now Tenijith drives. Tenijith puts it up, no good. Gets her own rebound, puts it off the glass. And Taylor Tenegith kisses the glass gently and puts it down for 2.
Did a really good job following her own shot.
And that's what you said, Coach, in our Ace Hardware Keys of the Game. One of the things that you mentioned as number 11, Tylee Fox puts it up, no good. Rebound is Tenegith, Lacey Tenegith. And Coach, you said in our Ace Hardware Keys of the Game, fundamental basketball. And that's one thing about the girls' game is Tenegith is going to shoot a long 3. And that's going to be good for Lacey Tenegith. Is the girls' game seems to be a very fundamental game. And if you can rebound, shoot, make your free throws, and play defense better than the other team, you always have a chance.
Yeah, and we're always looking at turnovers and rebounds, right? And I think there's if you can have, between your more rebounds, less turnovers than the other team, that obviously leads to more shot attempts. But those are usually the two drivers that we look at.
And folks, that ends the first half as the Blue Ridge Yellow Jackets have a commanding 31-12 lead on the Gilbert Christian Knights. As we're going to go to break, we're going to come back and give you our Honda Ski and Outdoor halftime show. This is Shola Ford's presentation of high school basketball on iTalk1067.com.
Mountain Mobile Auto Glass and Tint now has 3 locations to serve you: Snowflake, Lakeside, and now Sholo. And with over 85 years combined experience in auto glass and over 40 years of combined experience in window tint, you can trust the experts at Mountain Mobile Auto Glass and Tint with your vehicle. Call them today.
Just call 536-5972. Mountain Mobile Auto Glass, cash back to you.
Who sells the #1 truck in America? Sholo Ford. That's right. Not only do they sell it, Sholo Ford is the best place to buy it. Why? Guy Hatch guarantees it. In fact, he guarantees you'll get the best deal on your next Ford car, van, or SUV as well. It doesn't matter what you buy. Sholo Ford has the best deal. Sholo Ford on the east end of the Deuce and at sholoford.com.
You've been there, waiting forever at the gas station for the guy to free up so he can fill up your propane tank. Or worse, when the only qualified propane technician decided to stay home that day. Yep, you've been there and I have too. That's why now I get my propane from Ace Hardware every time. You get Ace Hardware's world-famous customer service when you stop in for propane. That's right, you get in, you get out, and you get a great deal on propane and everything else. From Ace Hardware at their locations in Pine Top and Heber. Ace Hardware is proud to support White Mountain Sports.
When you think glass, think Deemer's Glass in Lakeside. Deemer's Glass offers the best selection of quality glass with affordable prices. They do full home window packages, replacement windows, custom shower doors and enclosures, custom mirrors in many shapes, styles, and colors, glass doors and hardware, commercial glass for buildings and offices, skylights, screens, fire-rated glass for your fireplace or stove, window film, and more. Visit Deemer's Glass today on Porter Mountain Road in Lakeside or call 1-888-GLASSMAN.
Who sells the #1 truck in America? Sholo Ford. That's right. Not only do they sell it, Sholo Ford is the best place to buy it. Why? Guy Hatch guarantees it. In fact, he guarantees you'll get the best deal on your next Ford car, van, or SUV as well. It doesn't matter what you buy. Sholo Ford has the best deal. Sholo Ford on the east end of the Deuce and at sholoford.com.
Want to go skiing or snowboarding? Visit our friendly Honda Outdoor Sports. We offer skis, snowboards, and helmet rentals, custom footbeds, ski and snowboard repairs, as well as retail shopping for your snow gear, goggles, beanies, snow tubing, and even ice fishing supplies. We have all you need to prepare you for the outdoors. We welcome you to Honda Outdoor Sports, located 1 mile west of the casino.
Hey, White Mountains, it's Joe G from Horn Auto Center on the Deuce and Sholo. At Horn Auto Center, we're proud to offer the best pricing on all of our new inventory. We won't be beat on price. We'll honor any advertised price on a comparably equipped vehicle on any new Chevy, GMC, or Cadillac. It's that simple. Save time, gas, and money while keeping your tax dollars local when you visit Horn Auto Center. Come see us on the Deuce and Sholo, where we won't be beat on price. Horn Auto Center, the Chevy and GMC store that saves you more.
Mountain Mobile Auto Glass and Tint now has 3 locations to serve you: Snowflake, Lakeside, and now Sholo. And with over 85 years combined experience in auto glass and over 40 years of combined experience in window tint, you can trust the experts at Mountain Mobile Auto Glass and Tint with your vehicle. Call them today.
Just call 536-5972. Mountain Mobile Auto Glass, cash back to you.
Winning takes focus, preparation, and support. Keep focused on your dream career while saving thousands in tuition costs at Northland Pioneer College. We're here to support your goals and see you succeed. Visit npc.edu to see our programs. An academic advisor will get you on the right path to achieve your educational goals. Northland Pioneer College, expanding minds, transforming lives.
Welcome back to Shola Fort's presentation of high school basketball on iTalk1067.com as you are tuning into the Honda Ski and Outdoor halftime show here from Blue Ridge High School as the Blue Ridge Yellow Jackets up 31-12, taking a commanding lead on the Gilbert Christian Knights. And as we go through the first half, one of the things we have to mention is just the defense of these Blue Ridge Yellow Jackets. They have effectively shut down Uni Maturi, as she has 1 point in the half. I look for her to come alive and add to her total a little bit. But as the Blue Ridge Yellow Jackets with this lead, and we'd like to run down our scoring. Number 3, Melissa Johnson for the Knights has 2 points. As I mentioned, Maturi has 1. Look for more out of her in the second half. Tylee Fox with 2. Carpentier with 2. Cervantes with the sole 3-pointer, and she has 3. And Kayla Aston with 2. So the high scorer is Alyssa Cervantes of the Gilbert Christian Knights, and she has 3. Now, total reversal for the Blue Ridge Yellow Jackets. Miley Hamblin with 2, Lacey Tenegith with 5, Leilani Hamblin with 5, Lexi Red with 2, Taylor Tenegith 5, but she has played an absolute amazing role down underneath getting the rebounds. And the leading point getter, totaler, person for the game is Ashlyn Smith, and she gets the first half with 12. So, Coach, 31-12, just give us your quick thoughts on this first half.
Yeah, I thought Blue Ridge did a really good job establishing Smith down in the post early. I think she got her first 1 or 2 on offensive rebound putbacks, and then they made a concerted effort to get the ball down into her. And once that happens, it collapses the defense and allows everybody else to have a little more freedom to get some easier baskets.
Tenegith has been their kind of go-to all year, and so for her to back up and take a little bit of a back roll, it kind of shows you what a team player can do.
Yeah, and I think that's important when you get to this level. I mean, every coach now has seen enough tape. They can find enough stuff on you to know what your first and second options are, and so to be able to have somebody step up who may not do it on a nightly basis is a big deal when you get into the state tournament.
So you're saying that coaches tune into iTalk 1067 and watch games?
Yeah, I know one that does for sure.
Well, I know that we appreciate it. And I know sometimes I look at the viewership, and I know it's coaches looking for that next game and looking for that edge. And I think it's a great thing that we have coverage of our White Mountain sports and our White Mountain athletes for all sports. I think we're going to be pretty busy in the spring calling some baseball and softball on iTalk, weather permitting, and looking through. So, Coach, I know this is cliche, but what do the Blue Ridge Yellow Jackets have to do to maintain a lead, and what do the Gilbert Christian Knights have to do to get back in this game?
And so the first 3 minutes coming out of halftime are really big on how this game is going to finish. Blue Ridge has Gilbert Christian reeling a little bit. At the end of the half, there were a couple of girls that were kind of arguing with each other. You could tell frustration was building and things like that. If they can come out and kind of control these first 3 minutes, that'll kind of set the tone on how this game is going to end. If you're Gilbert Christian, they've done a really good job at taking Uni out of the game with the box and one, and they just need someone else to step up. It appears they're going to continue to get those open three-point shots. If they can make a couple of those, it may force Blue Ridge into considering something else defensively. But when you're down 31-12, as we talk, how do you eat an elephant, one bite at a time, is kind of that idea. Down 19, we probably would be telling our girls, hey, look, at the 4-minute mark, we want this down to be about 12, and let's try to get it to 8 by the end of the quarter, and then let's have a fun fourth quarter. That's kind of the mindset Gilbert Christian needs, where Blue Ridge has to say, you know what, let's put them away. Let's take any hope that they have of being competitive in this game, and let's end it as quickly as we can.
Well, Coach, on that note, Gilbert Christian is rotating most of their bench out. I think they have a rotation of about 10 or 11 right now. And I haven't seen much of a press out of them. I guess my question would be, is it at what point do they have to come out and run that press and be aggressive and try to get some turnovers and create their own opportunities?
Yeah, and maybe, I think that's a really good point. Maybe it doesn't need to be in a full court if they're not wanting to come out and run, the traditional full court presses. But you certainly got to start applying some ball pressure and try to get some offense out of your defense. Even if they're half-court steals, and you can kind of get some runouts, get some easy scores to build some confidence.
Well, and I never think a team is down and out because we've seen it. Double-digit leads erased. If you were watching, that game on Sunday and we're rooting for the team out west, you watched a lead erased. As folks, we're going to start the second half. This is our Northland Pioneer College tip-off. When it comes time to tip off your college education, tip it off at the college with the lowest tuition in the states. Locations in Navajo and Apache County, Northland Pioneer College, as the alternating possession goes into the Blue Ridge Yellow Jackets. However, pretty close to 11 seconds after they possessed the ball. Gilbert Christian started with the ball. We had a tie-up, and now the ball belongs to the Blue Ridge Yellow Jackets as we have Tenejith, Smith, and there goes Smith for another 2, no good. Paxson, as well as Hamblin, and Hamblin going over to guard Maturi, as Hamblin has been on Maturi running that box and one, like Coach said, almost forced a turnover, as now we have a 3-point shot by number 3, Melissa Johnson. A 3-point shot for the Gilbert Christian Knights, and Coach, exactly what they said. I look for Gilbert Christian to kind of toughen down on defense inside right now, a little more aggressive, taking some risks. As that's going to be Ashlyn Smith inside for 2 points, and Smith is adding to her point total, getting close to having almost half her team's points this evening, as I wouldn't have expected that. I expected her to score some points, but she has been a great shooter tonight. As that goes inside to the Gilbert Christian Knights, and that is Ashton, and Ashton is fouled. It's going to go, and that's going to put Kayla Ashton at the line to shoot a couple.
I think with this box and one is certainly giving them problems, and what you need to do when you're getting, kind of that type of defense on you is I would be looking at trying to overload one side of the zone. Blue Ridge has taken one of their zone defenders and moved them out to play man-to-man and playing 2 on the left side, 2 on the right. If Gilbert Christian get 3 and even 4 girls on the one side of the floor, I think it would open some shots up for them.
Great job by our production team to get those close-up shots as Kayla Ashton, the junior, puts that in. Now the ball goes inside, long court pass, and that is no good. And Coach, I'm not being critical. I'm just saying the Blue Ridge mentality seems to be a little bit sloppy to start this half.
Yeah, that's the hardest thing, right, is when you get a big league at half, coming out with the same intensity and the same things that got you that big lead. It's human nature just to relax a little bit, right?
Well, Coach Tenney just looks on to his squad as they get a takeaway now, and Blue Ridge gets a steal over the Knights, and that's going to belong to Lacey Tenejith. She crosses over midcourt now on the far side. Back over to Taylor Tenejith. Taylor Tenejith, the free throw jumper off the backboard, no good. Rebound is the Knights, and that is going to be number 2, Chloe Lehman. As Maturi is going to bring up the ball, she's going to throw a long court pass to Cervantes. Cervantes is going to go out of bounds, and it is going to go to the Blue Ridge Yellow Jackets. And Coach, I got to agree with that call. It looked like it went out on the leg of Cervantes, and now it's going to belong to the Jackets as Tenejith is going to inbounds. She sends it over to Lacey Tenejith. Now full court press by the Knights as Lehman steals it. Lehman puts it up, no good. But Lehman, before she puts it up, she's going to get a whistle, and she's going to get called for the dreaded double dribble. The dreaded double dribble. Not the travel, but the double dribble. As ball goes inside to Hamblin. Hamblin now brings it all the way over, and Hamblin goes as she puts it up, bangs up a little bit with Ashton, no good. And Ashton is going to give way to Smith as Smith puts it up there, and she's going to be fouled as official Randall Allen says, no, you got her on the arm on that box. it's going to be 2 shots for Ashton Smith. And this is a Mountain Mobile Auto Glass free throw. Smith's first free throw is good.
Well, one thing we know about Randall is he does like to call shooters in the post, and one of the few. So we sure appreciate it being a little more post-oriented.
As Smith knocks down her second one, adding to her point total. And, I've watched a lot of these officials work this year, Coach, and that's one thing I say is if you are physical inside and you can get – and for you guys, you have Chloe Olberg. And Chloe goes in there, and she's so much stronger than all the other girls. There's a three-point shot, a whistle, and that's going to be – Cervantes sinks the shot. However, she's going to get whistled and called for the travel. As number 15, Addie Hansen, is going to check in. And, Coach, when Olberg goes up, there's a lot of times where I don't even know that she's been hit on the arm, but the official calls it because she just gets and puts that ball up, and you can't even tell that it's been deflected. And she a lot of times can get that and one shot.
Yeah, I think she's so aggressive and powerful in there that she makes a lot of her own success down in there.
As Anaya Paxson is going to put that in for her first points of the game. However, not to underscore her job on defense is Maturi's going to drive. Maturi's going to be knocked around by Hamblin. Maturi's going to get her own rebound, put it up. We're going to get a whistle, and Tenejith is going to be whistled for her. Coach, I think that might be her third. Unofficial? Nope. It is, yes, it is her second. It is her second. That's going to put Maturi at the line to shoot a couple. As Maturi's first free throw is no good. Maturi, the sophomore for the Gilbert Christian Knights, as number 21, Carissa Bailey checks in for the Knights as they send Bailey and I believe that is Johnson to the Blue Ridge side. So I look for a Coach. What do you call this when they press up front but they drop these two defenders back?
I think they're just trying to get something just quickly in the front court, see if they can get something on that first or second pass, but they don't want to give up anything.
As Coach Ashlyn Smith drives the lane, kind of is blocked a little bit. It wasn't pretty, but that rolled off the back through the rim, and it put it in. As now Gilbert Christian brings it down, and that's going to go to Carissa Bailey, number 21, and she's going to put it in for her own two. Bailey with a wide open shot. Now long court to Paxson. Paxson puts it up. Paxson is going to be fouled, and she's going to put it in for, and she's going to get an and one. So Blue Ridge still with a commanding 22-point lead, if I do my math right. As Paxton's going to go to the line to shoot an and one as we just passed under 5 minutes left in this quarter, and now we're going to get a timeout. We're going to take a 30-second timeout as well. This is Sholo Ford's presentation of high school basketball on italk1067.com.
Who sells the #1 truck in America? Sholo Ford. That's right. Not only do they sell it, Sholo Ford is the best place to buy it. Why? Guy Hatch guarantees it. In fact, he guarantees you'll get the best deal on your next Ford car, van, or SUV as well. It doesn't matter what you buy. Sholo Ford has the best deal. Sholo Ford on the east end of the Deuce and at sholoford.com.
Welcome back. Sholo Ford's presentation of high school basketball on italk1067.com as the Blue Ridge Yellow Jackets just came in after a timeout as the clock ticks down to 0. Coach Tennant just doing some adjustments, and I think he's going to try to get some life into his team as Maturi's going to inbound the ball for the Gilbert Christian Knights. Inbound is to Tylee Fox. Now Fox goes to the middle, guarded by Paxson. Hamblin stays back on Maturi as Fox goes to the side. Now Fox reverse layup, no good. Blocked by Smith, so not even a chance to get it up there as now Paxson crosses the time stripe over to Lacey Tenejith. Lacey Tenejith right side, right hand. Bounces off the board, no good. Rebound is Bailey. Bailey now sends it over to Fox. Fox crosses over midcourt. Now to Maturi. Maturi, three-point range. Maturi, three-point shot, no good. Off the mark. Bailey rebound, no good. Bailey puts it back up, no good. Or excuse me, that's Fox, not Bailey. Fox with the rebound. Fox putting it back up, no good. My apologies to Tylee Fox. As we're going to whistle, we're going to foul, and that is going to be the third foul on Taylor Tenejith as Lexi Red is going to check in for the Blue Ridge Yellow Jackets.
Now Gilbert Blue Ridge has been doing a really good job on the glass all night. That was a really good job by Gilbert Christian getting 3 or 4 extra shots and really attacking the offensive glass.
As Bailey now sends it over to Johnson. That's going to end up in the hands of Maturi at the top of the key. Maturi just inside the free throw line, puts a jumper up, and that is good. and that is going to be I kind of say a big basket as that brings her team. As we're going to get a whistle, we're going to get a foul, and that is going to go on Melissa Johnson as she fouls Tenejith, Lacey Tenejith, as now Red is going to inbound the ball. Red backcourt a little bit to Paxson. Paxson being guarded by Johnson, now crosses over to her left, loses the ball a little bit, now gains it back. To her left, 18-foot jumper, no good. Rebound is Tenejith, Lacey Tenejith with another 2 points. Coach, was that an 18-foot jumper, or am I off the mark there?
Yeah, pretty close.
What's the three-point line, 23?
Three-point line here in high school is 19.9, so right about 20 feet.
So we're going to say 17-foot jumper. As always good to have Coach Brogan on the broadcast correcting my idiosyncrasies, because everybody knows I have him. As Addie Hansen now has the ball, back to Maturi. Maturi very close to a backcourt, gets across in time as Maturi goes to her left. She puts it up and in, no good. Rebound, guarded by Hamblin, no good. And Hamblin kind of was going after the rebound, and we watched the replay here as there's the rebound, and see if we can get it on our replay. And no, we weren't able to get it, but nonetheless, we're going to have the fourth team foul for the Gilbert Christian Knights, as now Paxson brings it in. Lacey Tenejith with the ball. LT brings it across the time stripe. Paxson setting a screen. Now Lacey goes to her right side with her left hand. Back over. Now to Red. Red brings it to the top of the key. Red back to the 28-foot line. Now to Hamlin. Hamlin brings it across to the top of the key. Over to Paxson. Paxson now inside to Smith. Smith takes one dribble. It goes off the court, off the defender's foot. Now loose ball. Smith has it over to Red. Red now to her left on the far side. 3 seconds, 2 seconds. Hamblin, NBA range jumper, no good. And that's going to go off the mark. But the rebound is to Smith. Smith to Tenejith. Tenejith puts it up for 2. Now, we're going to get a little bit of a clarification here, because we're going to see if the ball hit the rim, because I'm not sure that wasn't a shot clock violation, Coach Brogan.
So the shot just has to leave her hands before the buzzer goes off, and then as long as it hits the rim, then it's a good play. So I think, in my mind, that ball got out of her hands on time and did hit them.
I don't disagree with that. Lily Dutzman checks into the game. I think that's a better explanation than I can give. My days of learning high school basketball rules ended 20 years ago, when the key was still like 5 feet wide. As now we have Fox with the ball. Fox inside to number 21, Bailey. Bailey off the mark. That's going to be missed, touched out of bounds by Lexi Red. So the ball will belong to the Gilbert Christian Knights.
Yeah, my girls, we talked a little bit about my first 2 years in high school. There was no three-point line. So I got to play the first years of the three-point line in, so they think I'm really old.
So, Coach, that was the early 80s. I believe that was 83, 84-ish, wasn't it?
Yeah, mid-80s, 85, 86.
Okay, 85.
Ballpark, yeah.
I remember when they painted it at our junior high gym, or the gym that I was in middle school, and I remember it was just kind of a painted stripe over the finish on the hardwood, and it kind of had a funny look to it. As Dutzman's going to put up a 3, and that is going to be good for Lily Dutzman, the freshman, for 3 points, as Gilbert Christian trying to not go down without a fight. As we're over 2 minutes to Lacey Tenejith. Lacey Tenejith top the key. She's driving now to her left to Red. Red now has it knocked away by Dutzman. Dutzman now right side. 1-on-2. Dutzman puts it up and in, and that is 2 points for her as the freshman Lily Dutzman. And now inbound is the Smith. Smith's over to Red. Red to her left. Now to Paxson. Paxson top of the key over to Hamlin. Hamlin now drives to her right. Knocked away, and we're going to get a whistle. We're going to get a jump ball. And the jump ball is going to belong to the GC Knights, as we have a substitution, as Adams as well as Pinal are going to check in. And I think at this point, this is Coach Brandon Tenejith starting to rest his players to get a little bit and give some of these other girls a little bit of a playoff opportunity, because if they win, they got that big game on Friday. As Cervantes dribbles, and now Cervantes has knocked away over to Fox. Fox is going to be fouled by Hamblin. That's going to be the 5th team foul, and that's going to let Gilbert Christian go to the line, as I believe Fox is going to go to the line, and she's going to put up 2. That is going to be Leilani Hamblin's 3rd foul, 5th team, as Miley Hamblin is going to check in seemingly for her at this point. Fox at the line to shoot 2. First one is good. Nope, no good. I jumped the gun, Coach. I thought the angle of the ball.
Here,
yeah, it did look good from here. There's sometimes when we're at the angle down here on the floor and you see the 3-point shot go up and you know it's not going in, and then it bounces off the back of the rim and goes in.
Looks like Paxson was called for a lane violation, so she's going to get an extra.
Well, and her second one is no good. So, folks, I was wrong, but I was right. As Maturi's going to check in. Oh, they're going to send Maturi back as she's going in for the shooter. So if Fox makes it, she'll get a chance to check in. As there's Fox's second free throw, and that one is going to fall. We're going to have a brief break in the action while Maturi checks in for Fox. Maturi, the sophomore. Fox, also the sophomore. Not one senior on this Gilbert Christian roster. And a lot of the names we called have been sophomores and freshmen. And there's Miley Hamblin now at the top of the key. Hamblin over to Paxson. Paxson to her left hand. She drives. Layup, left side, left hand. That's going to fall for another two. And Anaya Paxson has kind of come alive here in the second half for the Jackets as Maturi sends it over to Dutzman. Now it's going to go to Cervantes. Cervantes in the middle of the lane. She passes it out to, I believe that's number 2, Lehman. Off the mark, no good. Rebound is by number 4, Dutzman. We're going to have a whistle and we're going to have a foul. And we're going to have another 2 shots. I believe Lily Dutzman's going to go to the line to shoot her first shots and this is going to be a Mountain Mobile Auto Glass free throw. Coach Brogan, any scores by chance?
Nothing's updated through yet, so we're anxiously looking.
Anxiously looking. Always coaches at playoff time are a funny breed. They get in there and they've dissected who and when and who's going to beat who, and this could happen, and it's just something that I think the worst is when you're with a wrestling coach who's got 13 or 14 athletes. Well, I mean, how many they have go to state? As Dutzman makes her second, and they sit there and let's say they send 6 to state. They've dissected every part of that bracket, and if he can get this kid and he can catch this one, and he wrestled him real close, as that's going to be a whistle, and that's going to be a backcourt. That's going to be a turnover on the Blue Ridge Yellow Jackets, as I thought that was Pinal. Sent it over to Smith. I thought Smith might have established herself, but we're going to get a conference here as head official Quinn Ashton is going to call everyone over, and we're going to see if they can. And I think they're probably going to stick with this call. We don't have a replay, but that's okay. And the explanation given was that she didn't establish herself in the backcourt before she caught the ball. And that's going to belong to Miley Allen, I believe, is going to inbound. And Miley Allen's going to inbound for the Gilbert Christian Knights. Over to Maturi. Uni now to her left at the 28-foot line, now to the top of the key. She switches to the right, goes, throws it up, puts it up, no good. Rebound Smith. Smith over to Paxson. Paxson, long court pass to Adams. Adams now puts it, and Adams is going to be blocked by Dutzman. Now Maturi with the ball. Dutzman sends it over to Maturi. Now Maturi, and Maturi's going to be guarded by Adams. Maturi to her right. Over on the far side to Allen. Maturi with it in front of her bench. Guarded by Miley Hamblin. 3-point shot, no good. Rebound is by the Blue Ridge Yellow Jackets, and that is Renee Pinal. As now Miley Hamblin, the sophomore, crosses over the time stripe. Looking. As we're going to get a whistle and a travel, and I'm going to agree with Mr. Gillespie on that call. Stacey Gillespie with the travel call as Miss Hamblin had her bags packed, and she was on a trip because she was traveling.
So Dutzman's done a pretty good job impacting the game a little bit here for Gilbert Christian, and kind of exciting to see a freshman come in and make some plays.
Well, what I've been impressed with her is she handles the ball really well. As there's Hamblin goes. Hamblin left side, left hand. That one's up and good for Miley Hamblin. As Dutzman did lose that ball, and that's going to end. We're going to start the fourth quarter, coaches. We're going to take a break. This is Shola Ford's presentation of high school basketball on iTalk1067.com.
At Summit Healthcare, you'll find a level of care you might not expect from a rural hospital. We've recently received 5 stars from CMS, a prestigious ranking that less than 5% of facilities in Arizona earned. Our cancer center has proven its level of advanced care with a national accreditation from the Commission on Cancer. And we continue to add more doctors and services so that you don't have.
Who sells the #1 truck in America? Sholo Ford. That's right. Not only do they sell it, Sholo Ford is the best place to buy it. Why? Guy Hatch guarantees it. In fact, he guarantees you'll get the best deal on your next Ford car, van, or SUV as well. It doesn't matter what you buy. Sholo Ford has the best deal. Sholo Ford on the east end of the Deuce and at sholoford.com.
21-19 at half, but it looks like they froze up a little bit. The
Sports Zone. Welcome back. Sholo Ford's presentation of high school basketball on italk1067.com as we have a little bit of an update at the Holbrook-Tuba City game. And, Coach, go ahead and give us what you have on that one.
It looks like Tuba City's leading 21-19 at the half, and so a good old state basketball game. Scores seem to come down a little bit, and competitiveness seems to get higher.
Well, and Coach, you and I both know Coach Greg Perkins. As Lexi Red puts up a long three that's no good, you and I both know Coach Greg Perkins very well, and he's had an up-and-down year with his squad, but his squad will not go down without a fight, and they are going to play defense until they can't play defense anymore. I don't know a Greg Perkins squad who's ever not played defenses. That's going to be driven in the lane. I believe that is number 15. That's Hansen. Hansen goes down the lane, baseline. She puts it up and is no good, and now it is going to belong to the Yellow Jackets. I'm not surprised at all with that score by Coach Perkins' squad.
No, and as my daughter and I were kind of picking the games this morning on the way to school, that was one we picked Holbrook in. So,
well, I can absolutely see, because Holbrook, your team, your Lady Lobos just had two okay games against them. I wouldn't say you played fantastic, but you were able to put the pressure on them, and they just had a rough time continuing in those. But there's times I saw Greg Perkins' team early this year, and I thought these girls can play some ball. And what's his one girl that kind of is there? Nohia.
Yeah, Nohia
Aberly. I forgot about Nohia. She's amazing.
She's a tremendous player.
She kind of reminds me a little bit of Taylor Tenegith playing for the Blue Ridge Yellow Jackets. 50-28, folks. Sholo Ford's presentation of high school basketball on italk1067.com. We'd like to take a minute and run down our sponsors: Sholo Ford, Ace Hardware, Deemer's Glass, Summit Healthcare, Honda Ski and Outdoor, Northland Pioneer College, Horn Auto Center, and Mountain Mobile Auto Glasses. There come the Knights, and that is a long court pass for Hansen, as Hansen is going to go down, and she's going to have it knocked away by none other than Leilani Hamblin, as Leilani Hamblin is all over the court defensively, and tall order to keep her in bay on the defensive end, as Blue Ridge doing a really good job of keeping Maturi in check. Maturi with 3 points on the night, and she's shot a couple this half, but nothing has been wide open. She hasn't had a lot of looks, as Johnson's going to inbound the ball. That's going to go to Fox. Fox intended for Hansen, however, it's going to be picked off by Lacey Tenegith over to Taylor Tenegith. Taylor Tenegith is going to get it. It's going to bounce off her leg, and it's going to be whistled. And a travel going to belong back to the Knights. As folks, we are going to go ahead. I'm going to kind of go out on a limb here and say, no matter what, we are going to be live at Snowflake High School on Friday night, as the Snowflake Lady Lobos will take on the winner of this game. Seemingly right now in control is the Blue Ridge Yellow Jackets. Stranger things have happened. However, Blue Ridge will be traveling over to play the Lobos in the confines of the Den at Snowflake High School. And Saturday night, we're also going to be live for you folks. And Saturday night, we are going to have the Snowflake Lobos taking on the winner of, I believe it's the Payson Longhorns and the Winslow Bulldogs. Coach, am I wrong on that?
I believe, I thought Payson was playing Sholo, but I do believe.
Maybe it's Payson Sholo. I didn't study the boys' bracket before this one.
Yeah, the boys should be, I believe, are Page Monument Valley.
No, Payson, Winslow has Camp Verde.
I'm sorry, yeah.
And Sholo has Payson. So as Taylor Tenegith, three-point shot, no good. Rebound is going to be by Dutzman. Dutzman, the freshman, over in front of the table. Now long court pass over to 15, Hansen. That's going to be just out of her fingertips as Maturi's going to check in. Ball's going to go to the Yellow Jackets. We're going to get a timeout. We're going to take it too. This is Sholo Ford's presentation of high school basketball on italk1067.com.
You've been there, waiting forever at the gas station for the guy to free up so he can fill up your propane tank. Or worse, when the only qualified propane technician decided to stay home that day. Yep, you've been there, and I have too. That's why now I get my propane from Ace Hardware every time. You get Ace Hardware's world-famous customer service when you stop in for propane. That's right, you get in, you get out, and you get a great deal on propane and everything else. From Ace Hardware at their locations in Pine Top and Heber. Ace Hardware is proud to support White Mountain Sports.
When you think glass, think Deemer's Glass in Lakeside. Deemer's Glass offers the best selection of quality glass with affordable prices. They do full home window packages, replacement windows, custom shower doors and enclosures, custom mirrors in many shapes, styles, and colors, glass doors and hardware, commercial glass for buildings and offices, skylights, screens, fire-rated glass for your fireplace or stove, window film, and more. Visit Deemer's Glass today on Porter Mountain Road in Lakeside or call 1-888-GLASSMAN.
Welcome back to the fourth quarter action. Show Ford's presentation of high school basketball on italk1067.com. As you see the camera down there on the far end, and in that back shot we see Coach Brian White, who joined us on the broadcast Friday. Coach Brian White loving this warm weather, trying to get some snow off the field so his jacket baseball squad can get out. One of the comments he made, Coach Brogan, on Friday to me was, we're the best team at taking ground balls off hardwood. And I thought that was a great comment. As Gilbert Christian now with the ball over to Dutzman. Dutzman back to Fox, knocked away by Tenejith. Now back to Fox. Fox three-point shot. No good. Rebound is Miley Hamlin as Smith and Bailey tie up. That's going to go, or Hansen, tie up and go out of bounds. And we're going to have Chloe Lehman and Anaya Paxson check in to the game. As Tenejith now set to inbound. As we do appreciate Coach Brian White joining us on the broadcast and giving us a little bit of a 3A East preview, as Ashton Smith's going to put one in. Ashton Smith had a little bit of a cold last part of the third quarter. That's going to be a long pass to Dutzman. And Dutzman in the WNBA would have been fine with that, but in high school ball, that's called a traveling. Technically, the rules say it is in the NBA and WNBA, but not in high school. As I thought it was a great pass. She just took one too many steps with the ball. And now ball back to the Jackets to Paxson. Paxson drives. Paxson gets a block, and that's going to be on Kayla Ashton. And that is going to be, I believe, that is her first personal. That's going to go to the first team foul. That is her second. My mistake. Paxson at the line to shoot a couple. As Paxson kind of had a pretty good third quarter as she came alive for a bit.
Yeah, she's a very talented offensive player.
She is a junior, too.
Yeah, when she played early in the season, she played really well and helped them to that big win down in Chinle and Altusay.
Paxson hits her second one, 52-28. As Maturi's going to bring up the ball, Maturi crosses over. Uni sends it over to Fox. Fox now back to Maturi. Guarded by Hamblin. Three-point shot, long range, no good. Rebound is going to be Lehman. Lehman back out to Dutzman. Dutzman, no good. Rebound, Paxson. Paxson for the Jackets. Paxson, long court pass to Hamblin. Hamblin ahead of Fox. Hamlin lays it off, and Hamlin kisses it off the square on the basket and off the front of the rim. No good. Rebound Dutzman. Now to Maturi. Maturi off the mark. And Blue Ridge ends up with it. But, Coach, little desperation in the shooting for the Gilbert Christian Knights as we've seen a bunch of three-pointers go up. As there's Taylor Tenejith with a long one, and that one's going to be no good. Rebound by Lehman. Is there a point in the game where, as a player, you just mentally go, we got to start just taking these shots and try to get something going?
Well, I think there's the propensity to do that. I rarely does it work, and so as a coach, you'd prefer your team just get a little more efficient. Work the ball, take good shots, and then let it happen what's going to happen. But I think at this point, especially with Maturi, she's been just been chased around by Hamlin all game. That I think she's just happy to see an opening, and is happy just to get a shot without Leilani in her back pocket.
I think so too. As Paxson's going to throw up a long court shot, and that's going to be rebounded by Maturi. As we look forward, I forgot to mention, Anaya Paxson had a set of Mountain Mobile Auto Glass free throws. As we appreciate them as our sponsor. Don't go anywhere, folks. We have our Horn Auto Center drive of the half, and I think it's going to be interesting to pick just one drive. And right now I'm leaning to just the plain second quarter for the Blue Ridge Yellow Jackets, but even the third quarter. Coach, we had them as 19 points in that third quarter. As that's huge in a game like this. So a couple things we want to talk about our Horn Auto Center drive of the game. As a little bit of talking going on as Maturi's going to inbound. Uni going to get the ball from Mr. Gillespie as we've got to stop and looking. Now we're live. Outside to Bailey. Bailey over to Cervantes. Cervantes in the middle of the lane, and Cervantes to the court. block. I didn't see any contact as Paxson brings it over the line. Paxson now to Tenejith. Tenejith, 28-foot line out top the key. Tenejith 3-point shot, and that one's going to be good. I think Taylor Tenejith just put an exclamation on this game. As folks, we're going to take a minute timeout. This is Show LaForge's presentation of high school basketball on italk1067.com.
Who sells the #1 truck in America? Sholo Ford. That's right. Not only do they sell it, Sholo Ford is the best place to buy it. Why? Guy Hatch guarantees it. In fact, he guarantees you'll get the best deal on your next Ford car, van, or SUV as well. It doesn't matter what you buy. Sholo Ford has the best deal. Sholo Ford on the east end of the Deuce and at sholoford.com.
Want to go skiing or snowboarding? Visit our friendly Honda Outdoor Sports. We offer skis, snowboards, and helmet rentals, custom footbeds, ski and snowboard repairs, as well as retail shopping for your snow gear, goggles, beanies, snow tubing, and even ice fishing supplies. We have all you need to prepare you for the outdoors. We welcome you to Honda Outdoor Sports, located 1 mile west of the casino.
Welcome back. Show LaForge's presentation of high school basketball on italk1067.com as we look to bring you the end of this game. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll have our Honda Ski and Outdoor post-game show, as well as our Horn Auto Center drive of the game, and then Deemer's Glass woman of the game, or glass man of the game. 3-point shot by Melissa Johnson is good for the Gilbert Christian Knights. Johnson puts up 3, and we're going to have our Deemer's Glass man of the game, 1-888-GLASSMAN, Deemer's Glass in Lakeside. As Adams over to the far side, and Adams is going to get fouled by, that is number 3. That is Melissa Johnson. Melissa Johnson, nice little 8-point night for her. As I'm still impressed, Coach, with Leilani Hamblin's handling of Maturi. As Red's going to bring it in, and that's going to go to Miley Hamblin. As Maturi just hasn't had much of an opportunity to even get an open look offensively.
Yeah, she's had maybe, those last 2 shots were probably the best opportunities she's had all night.
As Red's going to drive the lane, she's going to miss. She's going to get her own rebound. Now, Coach, I don't want to give away any military secrets, so I don't. But and you don't have to tell me, but I want to know, as a coach, when you see something previous that worked, you think, okay, they're going to go home and work. That team's going to go home offensively, or they're going to stay here, whatever it is, and they're going to address why that didn't work. And so they're going to adjust. Are you counteracting those adjustments, or you say, look, we're just going to take our team and we're going to play our game. This is what we are going to do?
Yeah, I think, especially with us in Blue Ridge, this will be the 3rd time we've played this year. And so, my mindset's more of, if it's working, if it ain't broke, don't fix it type. And so, we'll be prepared for more than, typically we play a lot of man-to-man. We've been working some zones and stuff in practice, and so we're just making sure that we do have some of that other stuff at our disposal if we need it. But I'm much more the mindset, let's keep it, see how it works, see what adjustments they've made, and then what do we need to do to adjust to that.
I think it's interesting because one of the things you talked about was basically I heard preparation, and you want to prepare for what's going on. And as we watched that game Sunday, one of the things that has come out in it is there was a lot of players that were unaware of the overtime rules. And the Chiefs said, and I regardless of who you were going for, the Chiefs said, no, we had an NFL rules expert come in and teach us what was going to happen. And you're hearing the breakdown now, of course, mostly from the Chiefs side. As we have 3 seconds, 2 seconds. Adams, no, we're going to get a shot clock violation. The tap is on the head, and the ball's going to now go to the Gilbert Christian Knights. And so I think you have to be, and why I bring that up is you have to be prepared for a lot of different scenarios. And if you're going to bust a zone or man-to-man or whatever you're going to do, you have that in your back pocket to make that happen. So.
No, that's right. And you see tonight, we see they're boxing one in. I've seen them run a boxing one 2 or 3 times. And so, we got to look at being prepared for a boxing one, with the 2-3 zone, a little bit of pressure and things like that. So we'll make sure we're prepared for all of that type of stuff.
And I just think it's good to have preparation as, you've seen this team 3 times, and that's what's unique about basketball compared to football and baseball compared to football is you've seen a team, in baseball, it's kind of like, okay, are they going to see my second pitcher this time? They saw my other pitcher last time, but my other pitcher did really well. So do I want to? And so the chess game that's going to happen in your practice and in Coach Tenage's practice to prepare for this next game is the clock's going to tick down, folks. Yep. We're going to go ahead and we're going to keep it here. This has been Show Low Ford's presentation of high school basketball on iTalk1067.com. Now we're going to move to our Honda Ski and Outdoor post-game show as the final here from Blue Ridge, 57-35, as the Blue Ridge Yellow Jackets will move on to face the Snowflake Lobos Friday night, 7 o'clock in Snowflake Gymnasium. Talk real quick, Coach, about what you see tonight.
I was really impressed with Ashlyn Smith, able to get Blue Ridge started early offensively, with her, I don't know what she have at halftime, 16 or 18 points.
Yeah.
I thought that was a big part of it. Hamlin's defensive pressure intensity kind of set the tone early. The speed, they got some transition stuff. And I was really impressed with Paxton kind of carrying the offense through that third and fourth quarter. So, a lot of depth for the Blue Ridge Yellow Jackets. A lot of girls who contributed tonight.
Well, Coach, it's time to move on to our Deemer's Glass Man of the game. And we're going to go with our Glass Woman of the game tonight, and that's going to be Ashlyn Smith. And we are fortunate enough to be joined by Ashlyn Smith courtside. Ashlyn, take us through the game a little bit.
Well, sorry, what?
Take us through the game a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so, I don't know. Basically, we just told ourselves that we were going to come out here with a lot of energy and that we weren't going to let up or give up. And we just, I don't know, we all focused really hard today, and we really worked on our game down low, and it paid off.
So, Ashlyn, our Deemer's Glass Woman of the game, Glass Man of the game, Deemer's Glass in Lakeside, 188 Glass Man. So, 18 points on the night. You probably didn't even know how many points you had.
No, I didn't.
And there was a stretch there where I swear that 3 of your shots in a row was the end of the second, or the middle of the second quarter, where you hit the shot, and I told Coach Brogan off the air, I said, I didn't think any of those would fall, and they were all falling tonight. So go through the mindset of most of them were putbacks. What were you doing to get position, and what was your mindset as you started you had to know that these are going in. I'm having a good night. I got to keep doing this. Walk us through your mindset and your play in that second quarter.
In the second quarter, I feel like the first quarter it took me a little bit to warm up, and I missed a couple shots, but then after that I just told myself, I got this, I'm a beast, and I did my best, and my teammates were phenomenal and gave me phenomenal passes, and they did a great job giving me the ball down low, and I just really focused on the game rather than focusing on whether it was going in or not.
Fantastic. Now, Ashlyn, I want to leave one. You're a Deemer's Glass Woman of the game. However, it is a team sport. So give us a couple of your teammates that you want to highlight and showcase. It doesn't even have to be about play. Just tell us about maybe their play tonight or what kind of person they are. Give me a couple of your teammates and some things about them.
Well, Anaya, number 10, she's a phenomenal player, and she does a great job of getting girls open, and she does a great job of driving the ball and seeing the court really, really well. And a shout out to Leilani Hamblin, number 11, who plays incredible defense, hustles 100% of the time. She's always sprinting. I'm so happy that she's on our team because I don't know what I would do if I had to play against her.
Well, and on that note, Uni Maturi had 3 points on the night being guarded by Hamblin. So you kind of hit it on the head with we have our Glass Woman of the game, but we don't really have our defensive player of the game, but I would definitely give that to her tonight. So, and Paxton really came alive in the second half for you guys, and she's been a great offensive player all year. So, well, Ashlyn, thank you so much for joining us. And Ashlyn Smith, our Deemer's Glass Woman of the game, Deemer's Glass in Lakeside, 1-888 Glassman. And the junior, Ashlyn Smith, 18 points on the night, double-digit rebounds, double-digit points, and you guys move on to play Snowflake. Tell me a little bit, are you just digesting this one, and about 3 o'clock in the morning you're going to start going Lobos, or are you already like, okay, we got business to take care of?
I think for the most part we're just taking it one game at a time, and now that the game is over, it's definitely all about the next game coming up and just taking it one game at a time.
Ashlyn Smith, congratulations on a night. Congratulations on the win. Congratulations on moving forward in the tournament. Thank you for joining us, and you have a great night, and we'll see you on Friday. Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ashlyn. And that is Ashlyn Smith, folks. That is our Deemer's Glass Woman of the game. Now we need to move on to our Horn Auto Center drive of the game. Now, folks, generally that's some outstanding play, but we're not even going to put together one outstanding play. As Coach Brogan, my vote is that first half of the second quarter that pretty much put the game away from that point for the Blue Ridge Yellow Jackets.
Yeah, I think that was definitely the pivot point in this game. Blue Ridge was able to get some easy shots. Ashland did a great job scoring around the basket, and they got some runouts with Leilani. Taylor had a couple of putbacks in that run as well, and kind of pushed that lead up to 19. And it seemed like Gilbert Christian just didn't have enough after that to kind of get over the hump.
Well, in that third quarter too was 19 points, and I've seen a lot of girls basketball over the years. 19 points for a girls basketball team in a state playoff game is a big swing in the game.
That's a really big number for a quarter. Absolutely.
And so now, folks, this is our Honda Ski and Outdoor postgame show. We had our Deemer's Glass woman of the game, as well as our Horn Auto Center drive of the half. And now, Coach, one last thing in this postgame show. You're going to go home. You're going to digest what you saw tonight. You might even watch the broadcast again. Of course, you're going to mute it. And you're going to sit there and you're going to watch the broadcast, and you're going to go, okay, we're going to do, and I'm not asking you what you're going to do. You're going to do X, Y, and Z, and this is the game plan, and this is what we're going to stick with. Is that the thought process, or have you started preparing even when you saw the bracket coming out?
Yeah, when we saw the bracket come out, with Blue Ridge being the higher seed, and we know the caliber of team that Blue Ridge is, we haven't been preparing for Blue Ridge, specifically, but a lot of the stuff that we've been reviewing we knew would definitely be applicable to what Blue Ridge was running.
Exactly, and I appreciate that, Coach. So we're going to run down and thank you our sponsors one more time. Sholo Ford is our overall sponsor. Ace Hardware with our keys to the game. Deemer's Glass with our glass man of the game. Summit Healthcare with our injury report. Honda Ski and Outdoor, our halftime and postgame show. Northland Pioneer College with our tip-offs. Horn Auto Center with our drive of the half, as well as Mountain Mobile Auto Glass, getting those free throws. And, folks, I'm Aaron Hewish. For Mel, for our production team, we appreciate you being here. For Coach Brogan for joining me tonight, thank you. And we look forward to seeing you at Snowflake High School Friday night, 7 o'clock, as the Snowflake Lady Lobos will take on these Blue Ridge Yellow Jackets. I'm Aaron Hewish for Mike Brogan. This has been Sholo Ford's presentation of high school basketball on iTalk1067.com.
iTalk 1067 KNKI Pine Top and iTalk1067.com. Brought to you in part by Northland Pioneer College, Ace Hardware of the White Mountains, Deemer's Glass, Mountain Mobile Auto Glass and Tint, Comfort Fit Dentures, Summit Regional Medical Center, Horn Auto Center, and Honda Ski and Outdoor Sport. This broadcast has been a copyrighted production of iTalk 1067 and Country Mountain Airwaves, a Kopaniki communications station. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or use of this broadcast without the expressed written consent of iTalk 1067 or Country Mountain Airwaves is strictly prohibited. For more information on this game and other games around the region, go to iTalk1067.com.